Parliament says National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula remains on special leave as investigations into corruption allegations against her continue. The Speaker has also launched an urgent legal bid seeking to interdict her arrest and challenging how the raid at her Johannesburg home was carried out. The Democratic Alliance has submitted a motion of no confidence in the Speaker. And to discuss these new developments, I'm now joined by the DA's Parliamentary Chief Whip Siviwe Gwarube. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You're of the view that the Speaker's special leave is nothing more than a cop-out. Talk to us about some of your concerns.
Good afternoon and good afternoon to your viewers. Of course, we are of the view that the Speaker should resign or alternatively face a motion of no confidence. It cannot be that as an institution, the head of the legislative arm of state is facing such grave allegations, had her home raided by the NPA earlier this week, and essentially there are reports that there's an imminent arrest. And we cannot now be sitting here with that head of this institution who is really, really tainted and is dragging the name and the reputation of the institution through the mud. And so there are only really two options for the Speaker, either to step down, and by that we mean resign. This special leave, and I want to reflect quickly on the special leave. The rules of Parliament do not make provision for a special leave. There's no special leave in the rules in which she can unilaterally decide to be on special leave. The only rule in Parliament that speaks around special leave is by a motion that is decided by the House. And so the special leave is nothing but a cop-out. Essentially, the Speaker must resign, or she must then be prepared to face a motion of no confidence. And that is why we have tabled today the motion of no confidence with the Deputy Speaker. He has acknowledged receipt of the motion, and we are intending on petitioning other parties in Parliament to essentially support this motion. And of course, if the ANC is unable to get their own Speaker to step down and resign, then perhaps they should support the DA's motion to remove her from office. But we cannot continue in this fashion.
As you make that request for her removal through a motion of no confidence, how confident are you of your chances of success?
Look, I mean, of course, the ANC has numbers, and they have had a history of protecting people from accountability, whether you are thinking about former President Jacob Zuma, where they defended the indefensible. So I would not be surprised if, of course, the party does not support our motion of no confidence. They've gone far beyond the point of being redeemable when it comes to being able to uphold accountability. However, be that as it may, if the ANC defends a Speaker that is implicated in such a scandalous scandal, then essentially they will have to explain to the people of South Africa how it is that they can defend a Speaker that is facing such grave allegations and that it will potentially be arrested. They will have to make that explanation, because we are continuing with our motion of no confidence. There is no special leave where the Speaker can kind of seek refuge. Ultimately here, our view is about really protecting the sanctity of the institution. This is the people's institution. This is not a place where the Speaker can use essentially to fight her legal battles. It has also been deeply inappropriate witnessing how the Speaker is communicating about her legal battles through the official channels of Parliament. This legal battle that she's facing is hers and hers alone. The resources of Parliament should be kept out of this. The fact that parliamentary communications has been communicating about her arrest or not arrest is deeply problematic. The Speaker should be communicating this on her own. The institution should be focused purely on the people's business. This is not an institution for Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. This institution is for the people. It should be focusing on the issues that are facing South Africans the most, and not dealing with the legal battles of an embattled Speaker who should effectively have resigned.
With the special leave in effect, is she not innocent until proven guilty?
Firstly, I mean, as I said, the special leave does not exist. I mean, the House has not taken a motion to grant the Speaker special leave. The only time a special leave has ever been granted was during the late Winnie Madikizela Mandela's period, where the House took a resolution to grant her special leave from her duties in Parliament. There's never been another special leave, and it doesn't exist in the rules. So this special leave is in effect her abdicating from her responsibilities. We are now operating as Parliament without a Speaker, which brings me to your second point about should we not wait until the investigations are done. There is a particular level of responsibility and authority that the head of the legislature must have, where one needs to be beyond reproach, where one needs to carry the name of the institution, where one needs to make sure that the public trust in the institution is not eroded. We cannot have a person who is facing such allegations leading the institutions. Yes, she may retain her seat, she may have the matter still in court, but at the moment it is impossible and it is inappropriate for us to carry on being led by somebody who's facing such grave allegations.
You talk about public trust. We're in an election year. What message do you think this type of conduct and the allegations she's facing sends to South Africans?
I mean, it is simple that our view as the Democratic Alliance is that Parliament should not be a refuge for some of the people, some of the worst amongst us. The 400 people who are entrusted with such a big responsibility of representing the people of South Africa should be people who are committed to such, and should be people who will be able to uphold the Constitution, the oath of office, and ultimately uphold the laws of the land. It is obviously very curious to us that the ANC has simply released a two-line statement essentially saying they're going to look at disciplinary proceedings and they step aside policy. That has nothing to do with South Africans. They step aside policy is an internal process. What we are wanting to see is accountability. What we are wanting to see from Parliament is that no one is above the law, and that if an ordinary South African was facing these kind of allegations, any place of work would have demanded the same from them. And so it cannot be that because you are politically connected, you are treated very differently. And so we are hoping that after the 29th of May, that we're going to have public representatives who take their responsibility seriously and who take their jobs seriously and their oath of office seriously.
Yeah. You've also expressed concern that in light of the fact that the Speaker may face arrest, the NPA and all the other law enforcement agencies should now be taking the necessary steps to prevent her from leaving the country. And, you say this as the Speaker has now called for an urgent interdict preventing her arrest. What makes you believe that a person of her caliber would want to skip the country?
So, I mean, you will recall yesterday, there's obviously been developing news throughout. And yesterday, Parliament released an official statement, again from the official channels, indicating that the Speaker was indeed going to be representing South Africa at the IPU, which is an international conference which is happening in Geneva. And they indicated that despite all of this, she would be leading that delegation. And our view was that this is deeply embarrassing for South Africa. Here is somebody who's leading a delegation at an international conference, and yet they are essentially facing these grave allegations back home. And so that is why it is important that we're calling on law enforcement agencies to say to them, well, you've got to make sure that the Speaker, as per her own commitment, is cooperating with the investigation and that she stays put, that there's no reason. If she's taken special leave, there's absolutely no reason for her to be jetting around the country, jetting around the world, going to represent us. Because frankly, that's not the kind of person we need representing South Africa at an international conference. There is a deputy speaker, there are house chairs, an acting speaker can be appointed. But ultimately, ours is to say that Parliament needs to schedule a motion of no confidence sitting urgently, and we need to deliberate and vote on it. And if the ANC is going to do what they've always done and protect her from accountability, then they have a lot of explaining to do to South Africans about why they would protect somebody who is facing these kind of allegations and potentially imminent arrest.
Very well. Thank you so much for that, DA's Parliamentary Chief Whip Siviwe Gwarube, giving us a sense of their reaction as the DA insofar as the matter of National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula is concerned.